Long ago, in a quiet Yoruba village surrounded by lush forests and winding rivers, there lived a woman named Olurombi. She was admired by all who knew her, for she possessed both beauty and kindness, a rare grace that endeared her to her community. Yet, despite her many blessings, a deep sadness weighed upon her heart. Olurombi longed for something she could not have, a child of her own. Year after year, she watched as friends and neighbors became mothers and fathers, as children grew and laughed, filling the village with joy. But for Olurombi, the laughter echoed only as a painful reminder of what was missing from her life. Determined to find a solution, Olurombi turned to the gods. She prayed, offered sacrifices, and followed every ritual her people believed would grant fertility. Still, her arms remained empty. But Olurombi did not give up hope. Instead, she grew more resolute. She decided to journey to the sacred grove of Osun, the river goddess known to grant the deepest wishes of the heart. With offerings in hand, Olurombi approached the sacred shrine nestled in the thick of the forest. The air felt heavy with power, a mystical energy that seemed to hang in the silence. Olurombi knelt by the river and called out to the goddess, her voice trembling with emotion. She begged Osun for a child, promising the goddess anything in return. In that silent grove, her prayer did not go unheard. The waters of the river began to ripple, and a soft glow emerged, as though the goddess herself were listening. A voice, soft yet firm, filled Olurombi's mind, saying, "Olurombi, if I grant you this child, you must give something precious in return." Desperate, Olurombi agreed. She promised to return to the sacred grove and give the goddess her most cherished possession if she were blessed with a child. In her heart, Olurombi believed she could never love anything as much as she would love her own child. Satisfied with her pledge, the goddess granted her wish. Not long after, Olurombi found herself with child. Joy and celebration filled her home as she prepared for motherhood. When her baby was born, Olurombi held her daughter close, marveling at the tiny, perfect life she had longed for. She named her daughter Eo, meaning joy, for that was what this child had brought into her life. Years passed, and Eo grew into a beautiful, spirited child who was the light of Olurombi's world. Olurombi's heart was full, and her days were filled with love and laughter. But as the seasons changed and time passed, so too did Olurombi's memories of the promise she had made in the grove of the goddess. Then, one night, as a fierce storm raged through the village, Olurombi was reminded of her death. Thunder shook the skies, and lightning split the darkness, casting eerie shadows across her home. Amid the noise, a voice echoed in her mind, a voice she had not heard since that fateful day by the river. It was Osun, the goddess of the grove, calling to claim what had been promised to her. In terror, Olurombi clutched her daughter, shielding her from the unseen force that seemed to press upon her. She pleaded with the goddess, begging to be released from her vow. But the goddess was unyielding, reminding Olurombi of the promise she had made. A promise, once given, could not be taken back. Desperate, Olurombi fell to her knees and wept, realizing the depth of her mistake. She had thought she could outwit fate, that her love for her child would be enough to shield her from her own words. But the goddess did not take back her gift lightly. Reluctantly, Olurombi led her daughter back to the grove, her heart breaking with every step. When they reached the river, Olurombi offered her daughter to Osun, her soul shattered with the unbearable pain of a mother's loss. But just as she released her grip, something miraculous happened. Moved by Olurombi's pain and her willingness to uphold her promise, the goddess showed mercy. She allowed Olurombi to keep her daughter, but with a solemn warning that this act of grace was a one-time gift. Olurombi and Eo returned to the village, and though joy returned to their lives, Olurombi was forever marked by the experience. She had learned the power of words and promises, the weight they carried, and the price that came with desires fulfilled by supernatural means. Never again would she make a promise she could not keep, nor would she take the gods lightly. To this day, Mothers tell the tale of Olurombi to remind their children of the cost of breaking promises and the true meaning of sacrifice. The story lives on, as a lesson passed down from generation to generation, woven into the fabric of the village like the quiet murmur of the sacred river. And so ends the tale of Olurombi, a tale of longing, sacrifice, and the power of promises. It is a tale that teaches us to be careful with our words, to honor our commitments, and to understand that even the deepest desires come with their own price.